So, chapter one is titled The Morning After, which, I had a lot of morning afters. So, it's me waking up to an alarm clock, even though I had just went to bed. With the guy that I met at the club earlier, which was a reoccurring theme in my life. And I was just like, oh, God, why do I fucking keep doing this? Why do I keep making the same mistake over and over and over again? And my answer is I had no self-esteem, no self-worth. I was what I would consider an easy target at the club. Like, I would get a little, you just didn't have to say much because I would get a little shit-faced drunk and tee-hee-hee-hee, and then you just tee-hee-hee me right out of my drawers and go from there. Am I proud of it? No, of course not. But have I outgrown it? Yes, I definitely have. And in doing all that, there's so many revelations that come to me now, because obviously this happened when I was in my early teens, early 20s, before I got married, which we'll get into later in many later chapters. But the one thing that was highlighted from a younger person was I was left with nothing but regret and the hollow ache of realizing I'd traded my self-respect for a few hours of false intimacy. Yeah, I did that a lot. So, and if you're doing that, what are your triggers? Why are you doing that? And is alcohol involved? Because for me, I will say probably a good 75 to 80% of the men that I was with, I never would have been with, but for the fact that I had been drinking. And I can honestly say that. Like, I wouldn't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but I'm going to hurt your feelings because you wouldn't have stood a chance with me. And even now, you clearly wouldn't have stood a chance with me, now that I've got what I've got. So I say all that to say, I went through waking up, man in my bed, waking him up, him rushing out the door to go get ready for work, me having to get ready for work. So in the shower, just scrubbing the whole night events from my skin and soul and body parts and everything else, because I'm a little, and then it was always like I'll call you later, or we'll hook up again. Yeah, no, most of the time that didn't happen. And if it did, it was just same shit because I was convenient for the evening. So I say all that to say, there was a lot of sadness around those times. But I was really trying to fill a void. I was searching for love in all the wrong places because there was no love there because I did not love myself. So let's jump into the points to ponder in this first chapter. And the first point to ponder I have is the illusion of intimacy. So we chase moments that feel like connection only to wake up to emptiness. That was so me all the time. What void are you trying to fill to settle for a counterfeit closeness? If you have the answer, you got the answer. But if you don't, let's think about it and make better decisions later in life. The shame spiral. Regret doesn't always wait until morning. Sometimes it crawls in bed with you and whispers, you knew better. I always knew better. And in those drunken stupors, I just didn't care. Like, I just wanted to feel loved in that moment in time. So why does shame sometimes feel safer than change? At that point in my life, I didn't know how to change my bad behavior. Giving up drinking was always a struggle, because I knew if I gave up drinking, I wouldn't sleep with the guys that I slept with. But at the same time, I didn't know what else to fill my cup with. Like, there was nothing else that I was so interested in that would, keep me motivated to not drink or keep me out of harm's way of drinking to get back into these situations. So, and I don't know if harm's way is I just didn't have enough to entertain me. And I had a very active mind, so my brain just never freaking shut off. So when I was drinking, that was fun. That was my pause moment, which is probably why I drank more often than not. the bargains we make with ourselves. I'll stop tomorrow. Oh my gosh, if you only knew how many times, oh, I'm gonna quit drinking. Yeah, I didn't quit drinking. I did for a few years, but then, that's later in the chapter. But I I'm restricted now. Yeah, it's just not. Yeah, I could take it or leave it. Yeah, but I like to take it when I'm with my girlfriend. So, um, numbing versus feeling, which is kind of what I just said. Alcohol quiets the chaos until it amplifies it. So we drink to silence the pain, only to wake up to louder consequences. What's your drunk thought that sobers you up? Like me, why do I keep doing this? The fantasy of reinvention is washing that stuff from my soul never washed away. It was always there. It's still on me. So what is it costing you to stop romanticizing the new you and actually become her? The childhood shadows, which we'll get into in the next chapter, because past whispers through our past whispers through our present, but it doesn't have to scream. What old wounds keep showing up in your bad decisions? And when do you first learn to confuse recklessness with freedom? I was just reckless. I mean, it took me a long time to actually come to freedom, which again, we'll keep discussing it as we go. The tragedy loop. This is just who I am. And I claimed it more often than not. It's just what I do. It's just who I am. I can't figure out what the hell is wrong with me. It was Groundhog Day is what I have in here. And that's exactly how I felt. It's like Groundhog Day. I'm doing the same shit with different people every other day. But it's the same result waking up the next day. So I hope this will give you a pause to think about why you're doing some of the stuff that you're doing. Like, what are your triggers? What is going on in your life that you keep repeating these vicious cycles that you desperately want to get rid of? So I'll leave you with that, and we will go right into chapter 2 for the next round. And chapter 2 is childhood wounds and lasting scars. Should be interesting.